Hey, it's Coach Mike with the Y here, and today I'm going to give you a demonstration of Pace Trainer and show you how its features can help you to achieve all of your performance goals.
Okay, first we're going to start by talking about the Pace Detail screen. And this is the main screen that appears when you launch Pace Trainer, and it has lots of information on it. But first I want to draw your attention to the upper right hand corner, which has this bright green dot, which is the GPS indicator. And it's bright green right now, which means we're getting the best possible signal from the satellite, which in turn means that we're going to get the best possible statistics from Pace Trainer. So I'm going to go ahead and start our simulated run by clicking on the Start button. As soon as I do, it's going to become a pause button, and in turn, we can pause the run at any time if we want to stop. Now if you look, Pace Trainer is now starting to report our statistics to us. We've got our total time at the top, which is our total elapsed time of the run, and then we've got several different paces, and they're all displaying different values because each one is getting calculated a different way. The pace up here in the left-hand corner is the spot pace, which is an instant calculation from each time that we get a signal from the satellite. Then we've got our distance in miles. We've gone 1.15 miles. Miles is the default unit in Pace Trainer, and our lap distance is 1 mile by default as well. Now the default units and the default lap distance can be customized, but I'll talk to you more about that later. The average pace in the right hand corner is a straight calculation based off the elapsed time and the total distance covered. The lap pace is an estimate of the total time that it's going to take to complete the current lap, which by default the lap distance is 1 mile. So what this is telling us is that we're estimated to finish the current lap that we're on in 7 minutes and 24 seconds. The average pace is a calculation of what we covered, where the lap pace is a future estimate of what we're going to complete the current lap in. The lap distance tells us how far we've gone into the current lap, and it's currently in line with our total distance, but it's going to reset itself once we complete the current lap. The total distance is going to continue on increasing. The lap time is the amount of time that we've spent on the current lap. And right now it's in line with the total time, but it's going to reset itself once we complete this current lap. Now, I can't stress enough how tracking your lap statistics is key to analyzing your performance. Whenever you're training for a specific running event, for example, you're going to want to perform at your goal level or pace. And tracking how you perform throughout your training runs is going to really give you an indication of where you are in meeting those goals. Let's get back to talking about the pause button. If I press the pause button, it becomes a start button, and all of our statistics are halted. If I hit start again, the statistics will continue from where we left off. Now once we complete a lap over here in this lap grid, the statistics of that lap will appear. Now we can manually create a lap, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to talk to you about these two buttons below, the sync lap buttons. This is a very powerful feature in Pace Trainer. It gives you the ability to adjust your statistics to the course when your GPS signals are weak, and then Pace Trainer isn't giving you an accurate representation of the distance that you've traveled. So for example, let's say we were coming up on the first mile marker now, and Pace Trainer is about a little over a quarter of a mile short of that lap distance. Well, we can use the sync buttons to have Pace Trainer adjust our distance to the course. So how do we do this? If I hit the sync next lap button, it's going to adjust the distance to the next lap. So let's see what happens when we do that. I'm going to press the sync next lap button. It adjusts our total distance up to a mile. It reset our lap and created an entry in the lap table with our first lap being 5 minutes and 11 seconds, which was the total time of the lap when I pressed the button. And it reset our lap statistics where we're now going on to the next lap. That's very cool. Now our distance and all of our pace statistics are back on track with the course. So that's the button you would press if Pace Trainer was measuring your distance too short. But let's say the opposite was happening. Let's say we were coming up on that mile marker now after a lap had been generated. So basically the lap time that had been recorded in the previous lap is wrong, as well as this lap distance that's been recorded. So we're going to use the sync previous lap button to fix this. It's going to subtract the current lap distance from the total and add the lap time that's been recorded since then to the previous lap, which kind of makes sense. We want to adjust everything to be as if we just passed that first lap now. So I press the button, and look, it adjusted. The time adjusted to the previous lap. It subtracted that lap distance off, and it's as if we passed that first lap marker now. Really cool feature. Well, that brings us to the next thing I want to talk about, which is this online tracker status at the bottom of the screen. Pace Trainer has an online tracker that allows your friends to monitor your current location and statistics. And at times you may want that turned on, at times you might want that turned off. This is just a status indicator that indicates if it is on or off. I'm not going to go into the details right now of how to enable it, but it's just a quick indicator of the current status of the tracker. So let's move on. There's some more functionality available to you in the Pace Details screen by a pop-up toolbar. And you invoke the pop-up toolbar by tapping on anywhere on the screen other than the buttons. And we've got 3 functions on the pop-up toolbar. You got the lock rotation, which toggles locking the screen orientation when the device is turned on its side. So by default it's locked, and when you turn it on your side, it's locked in the portrait mode. If you click on the lock orientation button, then when you flip it on the side, it's going to turn into a landscape mode. And you may want that. You may not want that. So if you want that, you can go and you can lock it again, and then it's locked in that orientation. I prefer it in the portrait mode, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the unlock, flip it on its side again to portrait mode, and then lock it again. It's all a matter of personal preference. Moving on, we've got the lock screen button on the toolbar, which disables user input. So if I click on it, it's going to put Pace Trainer in a mode that disables pressing the buttons. So this is really good if you're walking or running with the iPhone in your hand. You don't have to worry about pressing one of the buttons and having it do things that you really don't want it to do. So when you're ready to get out of this mode, you do a slide to unlock at the bottom, and it unlocks the screen and enables your buttons. One last thing to talk about is the select target distance. It allows you to set a target distance goal for your activity. So you can select either in miles or meters and select the target distance that you want for the current activity that you're doing. So I'm going to leave it as in the 6.2 miles and hit save. It's going to give me status that says, okay, my goal has been set and my estimated finish time is 45 minutes and 7 seconds. So let's just go ahead and say we completed that 6.2 miles and we want to reset the activity. By pressing the pause button, the lap button becomes a reset button. When we press the reset button, a dialog box appears. Pace Trainer saves all of our past history, but we want to give it some information. Was it a run, bike, or walk? It was a run, so I'm going to leave run highlighted. And then we can decide if we want to post it to any social network feeds. We got Facebook, Twitter, and Pace Trainer Online. By default, they're all off because we haven't configured them in the settings screen, but you could override them here by toggling them on and off as appropriate. If we press the save button, it's only going to store the activity on the device. If you press save and post, it's going to save the activity to the device and also post it to any of the selected social network feeds above. If you had accidentally pressed the reset button, you can press the cancel button and it will dismiss this dialog box, and then you can resume your activity. Well, that's it for the Pace Details screen. It's Coach Myke with the Y saying good luck with Pace Trainer.